Okay, so my questions are, since you've been preparing so many Udemy courses, I'm interested in knowing what your recommendations are and what you've learned about the process in terms of putting together a quality product and then getting people to find out about it and make use of it and put money in your pocket.
Yes. Okay. So I think more important than production quality is choosing the right topic, choosing a niche that nobody has done before, because the things that are the biggest markets that nobody has made something for are the ones that are most likely to succeed. So having made 5 out of 6 that have generated hardly any money at all, like hundreds of dollars, and having one that succeeded, they're basically filmed the same. They're basically structured the same. If anything, the best performing one I did is the shittiest looking one. It's the first one that I did before I had knowledge of how to do it better, to make it look better.
Yeah.
But I happened to find something that for some reason nobody had done it at that point. So it really is a factor of something that a lot of people were searching for that nobody had done. The other stuff nobody's searching for. Also, some of them, I think nobody had done any of the ones that I made, but nobody was looking for it either. Nobody's Googling these types of things, So my course, like how to make a mashup, how to make a mixtape, nobody's asking those questions. It's just something that I knew and that I wanted to share. And I think the people who've taken the course have really enjoyed those courses. I get really positive feedback from them, but the volume is just not really there.
That makes sense.
So if you're like, I want to make a graphic design course, well, there's, 200,000 graphic design courses on Udemy already or everywhere.
Yep.
So it's going to be really, really, really hard to do anything meaningful with that.
Yeah.
That's part of the issue. But, the flip side is, can you get your foot in the door? Can you make something good? Yeah, of course you can do that. And, like Maru had tried as well, but also it's a pretty low flame. So for example, she's probably going to pull her courses from Udemy and remake them and redistribute them on her own channel.
Okay.
Because another thing about Udemy is that the money that you get per sale has gone down dramatically since 5 years ago.
Oh.
So like your share goes down. That's the general trend. So at best, they take 50% of every sale. And you can pretty much charge whatever you want to charge. You can charge $200. So there's essentially 2 choices when you're dealing with Udemy. One of them is opt in to all of their promotions, and one of them is don't opt into anything. And you kind of have to opt into their promotions to get featured, to get any chance of organic traffic on your course.
Got it.
And that means that no matter what you sell your course for, $100, $200, a real student will never, ever buy your course for more than $11. Their whole business model is a perpetual 90% discount. So you could charge $29.99, you could charge $59.99, you could charge $199.99, and that course will always literally be bought for $11, of which you used to get, let's say, $5.50. But now they've got this business platform where you'll get like $3.75 sometimes per sale. So the only way that you can make any legitimate money is, we're talking thousands of students per month.
Yeah.
So if you got 1,000 students to buy your course per month,
right, that
could get you something like $3,700, which means that the turnover rate has to be huge for it to put any like significant money. Now, can you get like a couple $100? Sure. Could you get much more? Are there courses that have tens of thousands of people each month? Are there graphic design courses that have generated millions in sales? Yeah. And if you get like a bestseller or if you get a hit, then it can be, that fast if the market is big enough. But I think far more likely is it's going to be like a couple $100 a month. But then again, the other flip side is couple $100 a month is more than $0 a month.
Right. So let's talk about the trade-off though, in terms of how much time you've put into creating each of the, like what's the length in terms of like amount of hours of content for I know you've done five or six of these. So what's that length? And then what's the like production time in creating that content?
Well, my first one, I really went over, above and beyond. I made it 11 hours of finished video, and just everything I could possibly think of.
Yep.
Which that was quite a lot. I think it was exactly 50 videos, most of them around 20 minutes, some more than 20 minutes long. So that's something that you can definitely do. But I think that you really don't need to do that. I think I way overshot. And actually, the funny thing is I just recently bought masterclass. I was curious. I mean, not only for personal interest, but also for professional interest to see like how good is a masterclass. And I was shocked to learn that the actual quality of learning and production value of what their courses are is just dramatically lower than what I had been doing. Like, I thought that there'd be all kinds of educational graphics and like things that would clearly explain and like homework and things that would just really make it a more kick-ass learning experience.
Yeah.
And instead, what I found was it's just somebody talking like that. It's a very nice camera on a person talking. It's a better camera than mine with professional lighting. And they have two very nice cameras instead of one. But it's just talk with like a single cutaway with just some text on it, like, which is something so basic that I would have never even considered that as valuable.
Right.
So it's kind of more like a YouTube video in that it's really like an interview more than what I would call an online class.
Right. Okay.
So like, is it nice? Sure. But like watching an interview is also nice. If you watch somebody on a late show, you kind of get an insight into their mind, but are you going to get like the nitty gritty, like this is how you do X, Y, Z? No. Right. So I was kind of shocked by that. I mean, they're spending all of their money on marketing. That's clear. They just want to get you to sign up. But I don't think they particularly care what happens once you sign up or once.
Right.
I don't think they're motivated at all by you actually learning something.
Education, right?
Yeah, that doesn't strike me as their motive at all.
Okay.
So I really, really overshot the mark with my first course. And the plus side is, I mean, you're going for those 5-star reviews. So there is something to be said for that when you're in an economy where you're only as good as your ratings. You kind of like Amazon, you're in a marketplace. So you have to kind of go for the 5-star review. And I think that's part of the reason why the course, like, I still don't get 5-star reviews a lot of time, but I think that's like absurd. It's like you paid $10 for 11 hours of this insane, like, in what reality is that not good for you? But like, that's when you're in that low stakes marketplace, people are kind of like, we expect the world for $5, $10. And they expect you to answer all of the Q&A questions in the forum. And it's like, the value that they get from it is insane compared to the value that I get from it. But what I do get from it is the positive feeling of knowing that I'm helping people. It's very positive to know, like, to get somebody saying like, hey, you changed my life, or hey, this really improved me, or like, thank you so much from, and like to see the dots on the map from all around the world is really inspiring. So there's an element of that I think it makes you feel really nice. And if you can get a couple $100, it's really nice. But I don't think you need to have 11 hours of produced video is the answer to that. I think if you focus on a goal, I think that will put you ahead. Like, after you complete this, you will be able to do X, Y, Z. I think that's a good way to frame it. And however long that takes to get it across is however long it needs to be. And if that's like 2 hours of video, great. If that's 3 hours of video, if that's 6 hours of video, I don't know that matters so much, as long as they can do whatever it is you're setting out to have them do. So I think you can feel really good about it. But yeah, so in that case, like, how long does production take? Well, when I did the very long one, I was trying to do 3 per day to film and write and edit and record. And that took me a solid month of just filming. And then there was a whole editing process, which took probably another month. I don't know. But I don't think it needed to be. Like, later courses are smaller. And I think those probably took maybe a couple weeks of filming. And then editing was also maybe a couple weeks. So I think like minimum time investment is probably about a month.
So the course of yours that's successful, what kind of, what have you done on the distribution side of things and then getting it into people's hands?
Well, I think that is sort of, that's a good question because I don't think I didn't do hardly anything. I just put something that people were searching for. And I think it was
the niche that people were looking for. Yeah.
And that's the kind of devil's bargain that you're making with a Udemy platform. In theory, they have the ability to promote your course to an email. And like, there have been noticeable spikes where it's like, okay, clearly my course was promoted in some email, or like it clearly got on some list, because 1 month will be like way up and then back down again, or something like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, from time to time, I think they do emails or thing roll out. And if you get featured in one of those, or like, you know, some sort of like hot courses thing, then you'll see a boost, but then it'll just go back down again. So you're really at the mercy of whatever happens with that. But I think that's what in theory, that's what you're getting by giving up so much. Mm-hmm. Like if you're going to commit to marketing or building something, then and that's kind of what she's going to do is, then I think you really have to ask yourself, maybe I should do this myself and then charge something that actually makes sense for it. Doesn't have to be like $2,000 for it, but something where you actually might earn some money that might actually impact you instead of $3.
Yeah.
And then just, you know, try to build it slowly yourself. So like if I were going to do marketing or building a long-term brand, I think I would be thinking more like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Otherwise, it's kind of a crapshoot. And it's sort of like, you know, if you resign yourself to like, okay, this is something that I can teach, this is something that I like and want people to know, and it's a niche and it seems kind of good, and you're able to deliver that product and you just leave it in the hands of Udemy, I think it's very reasonable that you can expect like, I don't know, you know, $200 a month to come in from it.
You know for sure that it was Udemy promotions that got it, or it could have been anybody who sent out an email to their list saying that was good for them?
Yeah, it could. I mean, they have like very basic analytics and it shows you that. So you get a very small sense. I also ran I ran Google ads and other things against it. But the thing is, the margins on Google ads are so slim that you're getting clicks over, but it almost negates itself. Like by the time, because the amount per sale is so low, it's really hard to run any kind of ads on it. Like when you only stand to gain $3 from a sale, you can afford to spend very little on getting that sale.
Have you looked into any other platforms that offer the same kind of?
Yeah, I did at one point, and I don't think that they're not fundamentally different. I mean, I don't think that like, if anything, many of them are even worse. Like some of them don't even give you 50% of whatever profit you made.
Okay.
Some of them give you like 40%, or you can look around. There are clearly some competitors, but I think it's always going to be the same general concept.
Okay.
So like, is it worth doing? Yeah. But like, do you want to build a brand? That's the question. Like, do you want to build a brand? I mean, what is your goal?
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, me personally, what I was thinking was not, at this point, I don't see myself really wanting to define myself by this, but I just did an hour presentation yesterday to a group of solo entrepreneurs who I've just found in the work that I did with all of my clients, and then a lot of people that I've met along the way, that there doesn't tend to be much of a marketing budget when people are starting out, but there's a lot of time that needs to get spent on creating professional looking materials. Yeah. And so that falls to the solo entrepreneur who doesn't typically have that kind of skill set. And so I pulled together what I've learned along the way, the really, for this particular hour-long thing, I pulled together an overview of like how to think about this, and then some really pointed tips on these small changes, which seem like they're nothing, actually make a huge difference in taking something from a really DIY to a professional looking piece of material. And I got really good feedback on it, and then thinking about it afterwards, and it was really fun. it was very fun to pull that together. And thinking about it afterwards, because I've been wondering about taking this and expanding on it. And there, I could talk for days. Like you said, I could put together 11 hours of valuable content for people. But if they're not looking for it, that doesn't matter. And I think people probably are looking for the graphic design tips and stuff. I mean, like the internet is saturated with how to design stuff, content. But most of what I've seen tends to be targeted to people who are designers or already interested in this, and not so much towards the people who are just like, I need to get this done so that I can take myself seriously as a professional in launching my business. So that's kind of what the niche I was interested in. And again, it sounds fun. And you've answered a lot of my questions in terms of, is it going to be a good trade-off financially for the time that would go into it? Yeah. And it's not clear. It's not an obvious yes at this point.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you exactly what, like, I think that what it is it like fun money in that it's, you know, it can be resold? Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. But do I think that it's more money than you'd get if you worked to get like one extra client in your life? You know, probably not. But you wouldn't get the impact of somebody from Bangladesh saying, hey, you really changed my life, or possibly even 100 of those people. So like, it's definitely very fun money to earn, but it's going to be really hard to have the kind of money from it that would pay your rent or make any kind of dent in your finances with it. Like, could it be some pocket money? Sure. But like, if it's something that you want to do more of, like, instead of doing one 11-hour course of it, I would just as soon make like three 4-hour courses, sell them, like find out what these solopreneurs want to sell it for, you know, or want to buy it for. See, like, hey, would you buy this for $50? Like, would you buy this for $49? Because if you can get one person to buy it for $49, well, you know, 10, 20 potential Udemy people. And the difference is you keep 100% of whatever you're able to charge. So like, if it's something that you have an inkling to do long term, then I would certainly consider like, okay, maybe I can just, you know, kind of grassroots this thing, try to get a couple people that I know to buy it. Because I really think, let's say you sold it for $50 and you got 4 people to buy it in the first month, just 4. I think you'd be doing at least as well, if not better than you would have been doing on you. And, you know, you can build your brand. So like, I think if it wasn't for my one standout success, I think my experience with the platform would be like, I wouldn't say largely negative, but I think my answer would be much more like, it's probably not really worth it. That any serious client will pay you more over the extended period of time.